Hello, episode 1 of On the Couch with NZ. Today we are talking all things muscle, myotherapy and lymphatics with Sal Petrassi. Hello Sal, how are you going?
Good, thank you.
Fantastic, thank you for joining me on the couch. So, it's like an armchair, but we'll call it a couch for what it is. So Sal, tell me a little quick introduction about yourself and then we'll dive a little bit deeper.
I was an athlete for a number of years, working in an office job, and
In the job?
and was exposed to a lot of teams because I competed for Australia, so we were exposed to massage and all of that type of modalities. So that's what, when I was finished, and I went into that kind of work afterwards.
Yeah, cool. So talk to me a little bit more about, people would like to know, talk to me about myotherapy. What's myotherapy?
Myotherapy is like your specialist of muscle therapy. So we start with remedial massage and then add on from there. So it's actually an advanced diploma on top of your diploma of remedial.
So what's the benefit of myotherapy over remedial? What's the, just so that there's a distinct difference, I'm assuming?
It gets to the root cause of the problem. So in
Rather
remedial,
than just treating the issue.
rather than just treating the symptoms. So your symptoms, someone will come with you with back pain. You go to a massage therapist and they'll just rub out the whole back. You have your therapists that are more advanced and done more studies and they start to learn along the lines of what myotherapy does. So it's incorporating a lot of focus on dry needling.
We'll get to that in a minute. I'm very curious as to hear a little bit more about that.
So it's adding different modalities to get the release and the effect out of the muscle and the maximum length of the muscle. So we use the dry needling, we use cupping, we use stretch therapy. So it's using stretch techniques to get maximum length.
To treat the root cause of the problem, not just the symptom.
We study a lot about pain referral patterns. So there's different referral patterns for each individual muscle. And even within one muscle, there could be 3 trigger points that have different referral patterns. So if you come to me and explain your pain, I can pinpoint exactly what trigger point that is, treat it. It can be a 5-minute treatment, it can be a 10-minute, 15, we can do 100 things.
Excellent.
Just makes it more precise.
Yeah, fantastic. And the lymphatic system. Tell us a little bit about how you work with that. Because this, this does fascinate me. As I've spoke to you about it before, I think one of the first times we met was I was very intrigued about how that sort of works with it.
Okay, so the lymphatic system is in charge of cleaning up the body. So you have your muscle layer, which is in your deep. You have a deep fascia layer, and in between there and the skin is all your interstitial space, okay? And that's where our cells are on their own little highway, their traffic network. So they're traveling through, and they need water to be able to transport. And within that, we also have cell debris, waste products, excess proteins that the body doesn't use. The body does all of that, and it can do so much for any kind of ailment, sickness, autoimmune, inflammation, all of that. It's when that system is congested or dysfunctional in some way is where it starts to cause a problem. And I think today, when we're facing all of these sicknesses and so many elements of toxicity out in the environment or what we eat, it all impacts this system. So often your pain can be sickness, sinus, headaches, everything can be coming from that area rather than your muscles.
It's basically your body's draining system of your waste.
But specifically, I got into it because I had a client who has lymphedema. And she started talking to me about it, and it sparked a big interest. And that is where the system is damaged or malformed in some way. You can get it from birth, or it can be from an accident or a simple surgery. A surgery where someone has, or your surgeon or your doctor has accidentally damaged something, and it impacts the flow. So once the flow is interrupted, the congestion starts to build, and it can take 10 years before you see a problem. And once it starts to cause a problem, then everything slows down. And the important thing for all of the gym community to remember is if that all slows down, your metabolism slows down. Everything slows down. You get sick all the time. Colds and flus you can't get rid of. Bloody COVID, excuse my French, you know, and this is
a lot of people.
This is amazing for helping the body recover from COVID as well, is a lymphatic treatment.
Yeah,
so you keep asking, I'll keep talking.
No, I like it. That gives us a snapshot as to exactly what it is.
All right, so now talk to me a little bit about dry needling, okay? How it works.
Oh, it's amazing.
In a nutshell, and how it helps.
Okay, so let's go to remedial massage that everybody knows. When you're trying to impact muscle and you're talking about going through layers and layers and layers of all of that lymphatic down to the muscle, you are effectively, all that tissue, you're bruising it all the way down.
Yeah.
So when you're rubbing it out, no matter how hard or soft you go, not only squashing the lymphatic, you're increasing your blood pressure, so you're bruising that tissue to make an impact. And that's why you're so sore after remedial massage.
Yeah.
With dry needling, it is a pinprick. If you know exactly, you need to find someone who does a great job and is precise. Pinprick straight down to that trigger point. There's not very much damage in all of that tissue going all the way down. The muscle itself, let's talk about how we form knots.
Yeah.
So the muscles, when you contract and contract and contract without stretching and lengthening, and that'll cover the stretch side of it, the fibers get stickier and stickier and stick together more and more, and they form around the communication of the muscle, which is a little nerve spindle. So when the needle goes down to hit that trigger point, it hits that nerve spindle, it elicits a contraction.
Yeah.
And when it does that, the needle's still in the knot,
Yep.
but that contraction breaks the knot. That's why you want that contraction.
Yes.
But in all honesty, it's a different feeling. It's when my clients describe what it feels like, some will say it's just weird. It's not painful, it's just weird. Others will describe pain because they're in pain.
Too.
Yeah, if they're in pain,
Yeah.
it could elicit the same pain that you've been in. Others might describe it as, well, it's nervy. Yeah. So particularly people... No, well, you try not to hit the nerve.
Yeah, of course.
Some areas you can't avoid it, but you're also very cautious. But some people can get hypersensitivity in their nervous system, especially with back injuries.
Yeah.
So those are the ones, doesn't matter where it is, the skin, everything, because the nerve endings are on the skin.
Yeah.
So any movement or anything that touches through the skin will elicit a stress release into the person who's hypersensitive. So you would do it at a very low level. It would be just below the surface, see how they feel with that. To get anywhere near the trigger point, even if you just go in the muscle near it, you elicit an ache. It'll start to ache and make that contraction start happening, which then over time it just dissolves away and releases.
But also with the causing the inflammation to the area would cause more blood to flow to the area, which would also that would also really help with the
you've got a foreign invader in the body. It's a stainless steel acupuncture needle, so it's very, very thin. It's going into the body and the body's like, what's this? It doesn't belong here. Off all the soldiers get sent to that spot to kill off, and if in case it's an infection, which in turn gives you blood circulation, all white blood cells, and that's what the body needs for healing. So it can still get a response without that twitch by leaving it in a bit longer and letting all that process happen and dissolve the knot.
Interesting, very interesting.
It works so much better than just remedial massage, but of course everybody's different. What they need depends on everything. So many things.
Okay, now tell me a little bit about your functional release cupping.
Yes.
Okay, you often see the, I think the Olympic swimmers were the big one. Or was it last Olympics? They came out covered in big bruises. That is cupping for those at home who don't know what it is. And tell us a little bit about your...
Traditional cupping, where it's used in traditional Chinese medicine, and it's meant to elicit a similar response where blood flow, negative pressure as well. By sucking the skin up into the cup, it creates this negative pull, which allows more space in between the skin and the surface and the muscles. So that cupping it works with the interstitial space, not muscles.
Explain that for us a little bit more.
So muscles is in a really deep layer and they're surrounded by a deep fascia, and that fascia is like, if you've seen a leg of lamb, the coating over the lamb is like the fascia, and it's coating up all those muscles. The cupping can't penetrate deep down into that enough. You'd have to go really, really hard, and it's painful. So it's not a great way to do your cupping. It has the negative pull on the interstitial space, the tissues of the body above the muscles, and it pulls it out, and it has like a, how would you explain it? A similar response to activating all the interbody processes. I can't find my words.
Yeah, you're right.
You know what I mean? So it's like working with the nervous system, working with the lymphatic system as well. It does all of that. So traditional cupping is where they put it on, create that negative pressure, and they might leave it 10, 15 minutes. Functional release cupping is a little bit different.
It's been to a Chinese Asian massage before, and they'll get the cupping out and walk out covered in bruises. So how is yours different to that?
So traditional cupping has been in the past with Chinese medicine using glass cupping. Then you've got your plastic suction cupping, then you've got your silicone cupping. And it depends on what modality or what you're working with to which style you use. With functional release cupping, I'll use the suction cupping because I want you to do movement while the cups are on.
Oh, wow.
So that, because it's working with the fascia.
I was about to say, that would mean that you're working with the fascia.
Fascia, interstitial space, not the muscle. So you're pulling a negative pressure. You basically get someone to do their movement that's causing them trouble. Tell me where your pain is. I'll put the cups on there, or tell me where you feel it's the tightest. I'll put the cups on there, and then you do repetitive movement, and the fascia's lengthening to encourage that slow progressive pull. But then you'll often find there'll be another area. Oh, I feel it in my calves now. Okay, cup them up and do it again.
Very rarely the area that hurts is the area where it stems from.
That's right.
So this is a good way to find out where that is. Plus also blood flow to the area as well, I'm sure, because it's pulling blood from elsewhere, which will help with the injury as well.
Exactly. I'll often, someone will come in with pain, we'll treat the muscle, they won't handle the needling. Let's say the needling's a little bit too intense for them. Bring it back, we'll try massage. That's still too intense. Okay, let's try the functional release cupping, and often they'll get the release that they need.
Yeah, excellent.
So tell me, how many sessions, like if someone comes to see you, how many sessions do people normally see you for? What's the process with all of that?
So it differs. It depends on what they've got going on, and especially if they've got more than one particular area. But if we talk about one area, remedial massage, I wouldn't see an impact until 3 or 4 treatments.
Fair enough.
Dry needling, I'd see an impact sometimes instantly or by the second time.
You see a little bit, you would get a little bit better each time though, I'm assuming. You know what I mean? Depending on the severity of the injury.
That's right. That's right. So quite often I get an instant result, or it might take 1 or 2 goes. Depending on, well, you've got to think about it. If it's taken 20 years to get this injury, an instant fix can be a little bit difficult to reach. If it's something that's happened 6 months ago, instant may not be too hard to reach, if that makes sense.
Yeah, excellent.
I'm adding more. So,
but yeah, how do people find you?
Okay, so website is salpetrassi.com.au, or socials, Instagram, Sal Petrassi, Muscle Myo Lymph. Facebook, full name, Sal Petrassi, no, it's getting long. Sal Petrassi, Muscle, Myotherapy and Lymphatics. But if you type up Sal Petrassi and start with muscle, you'll find it.
Yeah, fantastic. Okay, so that is our first On the Couch with NZ. We've had Sal Petrassi in. Thank you so much for joining us, Sal.
Having me. It was great.
Yeah, it's been enjoyable. I really have enjoyed it. Thank you so much. And been quite informative too.
Yeah, anytime.